German city of Essen fines ex-Muslim taxi driver for Bible text on vehicle. The city of Essen has fined the German taxi driver Jalil Mashali because of a Bible text on his vehicle. This was confirmed on Tuesday by Sofia Hoerder, spokeswoman for the legal human rights organization ADF International, when asked by Reformatorisch Dagblad. The fine was €88.50, much less than the expected €1,000. Mashali received a letter from the city of Essen in October 2023 threatening him with a fine if he did not remove the sticker reading "Jesus, I am the way, the truth and the life" from his taxi. According to the city, this is religious advertising. It is considered inappropriate as taxis have a public function. Both Mashali and ADF International believe the ban violates basic human rights such as freedom of expression and freedom of religion, including the right to share deeply held beliefs with others. The Christian convert has so far refused to remove the text. Mashali is appealing the fine to the city of Essen, supported by the human rights organization. Until then, the taxi driver will not pay, Hoerder argues. If the administrative body does not withdraw the fine, the case may be taken to court. Surgery. The Iranian Muslim Jalil Mashali, 51, moved to Germany for a surgery in 2001. There he became a Christian, he tells during a visit by a reporter in Essen. Passengers rush to their trains, taxis drive to and fro, dark clouds hang over Essen West train station. At any moment, the rain could erupt. At the stroke of 9:30, a yellow Volkswagen Caddy drives into the taxi rank. A cross hangs from the interior mirror. The Christian radio station ERF Plus sounds softly in the background. Mashali sits in front. Breadwinner. I was born in 1972 in the Iranian metropolis of Avaz and grew up in a family of 10 children. Mashali begins his story. My father died in 1980 during the Iraq-Iran war. I was 8 years old at the time. Because our family had lost the breadwinner, I had to start selling cigarettes, water and falafel on the streets. At the age of 13, Mashali is hit by a bus and has to undergo 17 operations on his leg, yet he picks up his life in the years that follow. He marries, has 2 sons and earns a living as a civil servant at Avaz City Hall. Paradise. Islam means a lot to Mashali during this period. I was the most religious of all my family and prayed a lot. I hated Jews and Christians and preferred to kill them. That way, I thought I would enter paradise. In 2001, Mashali moves to Essen for medical treatment. I kept having a lot of problems walking and was in a lot of pain. On the advice of a cousin, I then went to Germany. Possibly, they could do something for me there. Battle. In the hospital, the taxi driver is experiencing a tough time. After surgery, the pain was so severe that morphine hardly helped. I wanted to drive my wheelchair to the 4th floor of the hospital and jump down. At that time, he is visited by a friend of his ex-wife. She had become a Christian and asked if she could pray with me. I didn't want to, as I was a faithful Muslim. Still, I allowed it. She asked if God would take away my suffering and called me his child. I didn't understand any of that. In Islam, people are only servants of Allah. A miracle happens. My pain was gone and, to my surprise, did not come back either. She said Jesus had done that and gave me a Bible in Persian, the language I had learnt in Iran. Quran. For the taxi driver, this is when a long period of internal struggle begins. I often read the Bible but also picked up the Quran again and again. Eventually, I came to the conclusion of how different Muhammad and Jesus were. God gave into my heart that I could no longer deny him. The decision to become a Christian changes his life dramatically. I no longer have to try my best to find favor with Allah. After my surgery, I continue to live in Germany. I want to use my life here to show others the way to him. With a wistful look, the ex-Muslim looks outside. There are so many people who do not yet know him. Aggressive. Although he has it much better in Germany than in Iran, things are not going well for Mashali either. The taxi driver pulls up his trouser leg a little. A prosthesis becomes visible. This does not always make my work easy, and climbing stairs is also difficult, he says. To make ends meet, Mashali has to work 10 to 12 hours daily. It's tough, but God provides my bread every day. I don't deserve that. In my prayers, I am not always faithful, yet he gives what I need. That is grace. He tries to share something about the Christian faith with everyone, whoever gets into his taxi. With Muslims, I am alert. Some of them react aggressively. That is why it is sometimes better to keep my mouth shut. As Zechariah wrote, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit. Islamic Crescent is okay, Jesus Christ not? So far, most people here still assume that our basic law guarantees freedom of expression and freedom of religion. Or has something changed and we just haven't noticed it yet? It is interesting that Mashali comes from Iran and came to faith in Jesus Christ here, i.e. a convert from Islam. In the mullah dictatorship of Iran, he would never have thought of making his faith in Jesus Christ public in a taxi. He would at least be given a serious prison sentence, if not the death penalty. This is how it is written down in Islam. But he felt safe in Germany. Otherwise our country always wants to be foreigner-friendly, with a strong welcoming culture for everything foreign, but that obviously doesn't apply here. The Christian faith that the driver professes is obviously disturbing. Christians must, even if this is difficult to understand, gradually learn to think differently. Let's assume that Mashali had attached a quote from the Quran to his taxi, such as Allahu Akbar, then it is very likely that no authority would have bothered with him. You wouldn't have dared to do that. You can't make Islam angry. This is already shown by the many court verdicts, which seem to be much more lenient than when the perpetrators of comparable crimes are local Germans. The anti-Christian and anti-Jewish muezzin call can already be heard in many cities. Islam is advertised in a penetrating way and the infidels are indirectly threatened, albeit in Arabic. No authority objects to this, but an absolutely peaceful quote from the Bible in a taxi is punished. The authorities will certainly find some formal justification. Christians should follow the matter closely, because relying on the Bible can certainly cause complications in our country. Special rights for the Islamic Crescent? This is shocking for several reasons. Firstly, because the state is apparently turning itself into a stooge of enemies of freedom. According to Mashali, only individual Turkish Muslim colleagues were bothered by his sticker. They called me a traitor because I used to be a Muslim and became a Christian, and they threatened that they would complain about me if I didn't remove the sticker. What particularly bothers Mashali is that the same drivers who are trying to restrict religious freedom for Christians have decorated their own taxis with stickers depicting the flag of the Turkish state or show the Islamic Crescent. Isn't this political or religious advertising? But a spokeswoman for the city of Essen also confirmed to Welt that the Turkish flag is not officially allowed to be displayed on the outside of a taxi. But it has no consequences. Message: Mashali does not have many passengers today. Normally, it is busier, he says as he deftly steers his car through the busy streets of Essen. He has barely finished speaking when a message appears on the dashboard. A customer, Mashali calls out. At a drab flat, he stops his car. A man of about 70, wearing a blue coat and hat, gets in. That I risk such a high fine in Germany because of a Bible text is incomprehensible to me, says Mashali. That this would happen to me in Iran is not surprising. But in Germany, a country where freedom is paramount? For me, the Bible verse is a way of witnessing. Jesus is the best thing I could recommend to anyone because he changed my life. That's why I have the sticker on my car for anyone who is interested to see. I'm not looking to cause trouble, but I haven't done anything wrong. I am grateful for this country where everyone should be free to share their faith. I hope to be able to continue to do so by appealing the unjust fine, said Jalil Mashali. In a free society, the government should not be silencing peaceful expressions of faith. Jalil's actions are protected by the basic human right to freedom of religion, which includes the right to share one's deeply held convictions with others. The state must refrain from unjustly interfering with his freedom. Graffiti, a 1998 law is the reason for charging Mashali, according to the city of Essen. At the time, the federal court ruled that taxis have an important public function. Therefore, religious texts are considered inappropriate. According to Mashali, the problem lies deeper. Germany has lost its Christian roots. See that church over there? Mashali points to a building spray-painted with graffiti. Church services used to be held there, but now it is empty. That's because people don't need God anymore. In the proceedings, Mashali is being assisted by a lawyer from Austria. The latter has taken on the case free of charge. It is not yet known when a verdict will be delivered. What if it is decided that the text is banned? Then I will take it down. God also commands us to be obedient to the government. Until then, I hope it may be a blessing.